I'm Makayla Sect. I'm part of Group 6 with Emma and Maya, and our topic was attachment. And so the definition that we have for attachment is that it is a psychological, evolutionary, and ethological theory concerning relationships between humans. In other words, basically how humans connect with each other emotionally, physically, etc. So for our example area, I have this little image. You can't really see it, but it's called attachment styles. And I'm just going to explain those first before I go into more of our examples that we gave. So the first two is secure and anxious preoccupied. So secure is confident, reciprocal, non-reactive, and resilient. And something that could relate to this is if a baby is crying and they want to be held by their mother, that feeling of being close to their mother gives them confidence, makes them feel safe. And so for anxious preoccupied, that will be emotional hunger, fantasy bond, lack of nurturing, and turbulence. So for example, for this is if a parent isn't showing much affection, the child might lack nurturing because they aren't getting that one-on-one with the parent. And just to kind of add, because this kind of goes with our non-example of attachment, but say if the child is in a daycare facility, since they're an infant to being a toddler or even older, this also can really affect the connection that a child will have with their parent or their caregiver. So we have dismissive avoidant, which is isolation, ambiguity, emotionally distant. This is if the parent doesn't really socialize with their child, so they'll might feel isolated. The last one is fearful avoidant, so internal conflict, dramatic, unpredictable, and this kind of relates more to the love and passion that a caregiver or parent might have towards their child. But also this is if there's conflict in between of how they show love. So some facts that we have is number 1, most babies will form a secure attachment with a maximum of 2 people. Second fact is that fathers engage in physical play with infants more often than mothers. And our third one is that separation anxiety shows the formation of a true attachment relationship between an infant and their primary caregiver. So some non-examples that I have here, I did kind of explain them in the image, but I will recap on them. So a child or an infant going into a daycare until they are a toddler, this can prevent that one-on-one that the child will have with their parent or caregiver, or that connection. And then also distancing between a child and a parent. Again, they're kind of the same thing, but that can lose that connection that they'll have. And then also if parents don't show any emotion when their child is hurting or if they're crying, this can also damage that as well. And also focusing on yourself as a parent or caregiver and not focusing on the child and their needs can also be a negative impact between the relationship between the child and their caregiver.